Patty Galloway is considered the world's #1 YouTube strategist, working with Mr. Beast, Red Bull, and many other creators, generating millions and millions of views. And to be real, that's a title that I want to have one day. So when he posted this to Twitter the other day, saying he'll answer any question that you had about YouTube, I thought I'd make a game of it by seeing how I would respond to those questions and then looking at how Patty gave his answers. Let's do it. So I pulled 10 questions by just looking through the Twitter replies, and the first one of these comes from Akram Akbar, who asked, sometimes YouTube does not give impressions on a new channel, not even a single first impression on that video. What is the reason and how do I solve that? Well, the reason that there's no impressions on that video is because YouTube has no idea what that is yet. You just published a new video onto their platform. Why would they start pushing that out? They have to get an understanding of what it is, the content that you produce, and what type of people are watching that content. That's why, quite honestly, the best way to solve this is just by posting a lot of videos. No, that doesn't mean you have to post like 50 videos in a day or anything like that. But whenever I first launched my channel just a couple of weeks ago, that's why I launched with a few extra videos. So that way, when one person watched one of my videos, that same person may be interested in the second or the third one. And then YouTube can really start to get an understanding of who is this audience member watching my content and start pushing it out to more people just like them. YouTube wants to suggest your content off of other creators. They want to increase those watch sessions. So in order for you to reach impressions, I would also say that you have to make content that people are interested in watching. What content are people already watching? For me, I knew that people liked YouTube content about Mark Rober and Ryan Trahan in my recent video on Mr. Beast. And so that's why I published those videos, so that way they could start gaining impressions. And I expect that to gain even more traction over time. And what did Patty have to say about this? Well, he said, how to resolve: make more videos. It's not an issue. Maybe try attaching some simple keywords to at least get a tiny bit of search impressions to start. Yeah, like that's the other thing that I'm actually running an experiment on right now is, do you even need keywords to launch a channel to get successful videos? My inclination has always been no, maybe 10 years ago on YouTube when it was very, very reliant on SEO. But nowadays, YouTube's AI systems are the most advanced in the entire world. Why on earth would they need tags to understand what that video is about? They have engines looking at your content to understand what it's all about. So that's the only thing that I don't really think you need. So this next question is really, really interesting by Samuel Brown, who asks, very, very curious of your answer to this. What do you think is the ceiling for someone in my specific niche? Sub growth, monthly view count, view per video, etc. I've heard varying answers from different people in the industry, so definitely curious in your thoughts. I always wonder, where could Mr. Beast get if he ran a channel in my niche? Okay, so I just looked at RBT's channel and saw that he makes Madden content. He has 1.47 million subscribers on YouTube. He's crushing it. His videos get anywhere from like, I'm looking at some of them now, they get a few 100,000 views. His most popular video that he has 8 million views, and a few others have 3 to 4 million. So he is crushing it on YouTube right now. But in terms of answering the question about a ceiling, why I think this is so interesting is because this is the same problem that I ran into just a few years ago when I started a YouTube channel in the college wrestling niche. I loved that channel. It was a blast doing it. But what I realized is there was a ceiling to how high those views could get. I was making content for a very specific niche sport that I was very passionate about and still am, but it isn't as popular as college football. Colin and Samir ran into this same problem a few years ago, 10 plus years ago, when they ran the lacrosse network. They reached like 100,000 subs, but they knew that if they wanted to grow bigger on YouTube, they would have to actually branch out to a new niche. So breaking down how you know if you have a ceiling or not is, are your views plateauing? Are they just slowly growing over time? Especially if you've been doing this for 2, 3, 5 years and you're seeing absolutely no growth, there's probably a chance that you are tapped out in your ceiling for views. In terms of Madden, let's actually search on YouTube to see Madden videos. So YouTube gives you these features where you can actually search what are some of the most popular videos within a search topic on their platform. And I'm seeing here as I'm searching Madden videos, these videos get anywhere from a few 100,000 to 1 million+ views. Other channels that I'm seeing within this niche are also within that like I've seen some like smaller ones that are like 30, 50,000, some that are like within the few 100,000 range, and then some that are like upwards of 1 to 2 million. RBT, clearly you're in that like 1+ million range. So you are at the higher end of that. I think that like you're probably starting to reach that ceiling in terms of Madden viewership, in terms of people who like play that game a lot. But if you're looking to branch out, I'd probably start going more and more and more like into other games. Like you have Madden, but could you cover FIFA? Could you cover the college football game? Like, could you cover more of these types of games that you slowly start branching out to and gaining a bigger sports gaming audience? I think that's how you can maybe start increasing your reach for viewership and not just hit that ceiling. And what did Patty have to say? He said, I think I would expand your ceiling by going into IRL content around football, then maybe 1 to 2 million views. And Madden alone, probably 500K. Interesting to say go into IRL content. I don't think that's necessarily always the answer. I think it would be interesting to dive into that, but pretty aligned there, quite honestly. This next question comes from Playbox, who asked, was wondering what your thoughts are on daily uploads, especially when it comes to gaming. Another gaming question. Have you ever consulted with channels that do daily uploads? If so, what kind of advice do you generally give them? Okay, so I don't consult on channels that do daily uploads, but if I was doing a channel that's daily uploads, what I would say is, first of all, is this sustainable for you? Because as I'm looking to grow YouTube channels, I'm not just looking to like do a bunch of really, really hard work and burn yourself out and then you never want to make content again, but can you build a sustainable business off of it? And yeah, there are gaming channels who are able to do this, but oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes what you're sacrificing in daily uploads is the quality of content. So in terms of daily uploads, what I say is you need to develop some sort of format around your channel and your videos. Instead of just doing daily upload for the same exact game time and time and time again, which gets very, very boring and repetitive and your viewership will fall off, create formats that you can post around. So if you're doing, I think one very, very popular one that you see is like 100 days in Minecraft, or Ryan Trahan does it like 100 days in the metaverse. It's not a daily upload, but like that's his format. What you can do then is say, I'm going to spend 100 days in this game and then the next game and then the next game. Formatizing your content allows viewers to not get bored of it. It also gives you a little bit something to be excited about. Let's see what Patty had to say. Yeah, I've worked with daily channels. To me, it's about competitive advantage. If you're able to be reactive to news, drama, updates as a daily channel, that can crush. If you're just making similar videos to others, but worse because you have to do it every day, you're NGMI. I don't honestly know what NGMI means. Maybe I'm out of touch, but yeah, I think that's very, very similar to what I said is in terms of that second part, at least, and just making videos just to do it time and time and time again, it's going to get very, very difficult on you. Question number 4 by Wanis LG. My viewership is worldwide. Is there a trick to increase that RPM? I'd be curious what you mean by viewership is worldwide. Are you an international channel? Are you producing content that like is honestly made for anybody on the entire globe? Are you like saying it's worldwide, but you actually have like majority US viewership base? I think there's a lot more to dive into here. For RPMs, there are a couple ways to increase that. One of them is by having like longer videos. That's a potential to increase the RPMs and CPMs and just like revenue on your channel because you're producing content that people want to watch longer. Of course, you have to get people to watch longer content. Just posting an hour or 2-hour video isn't just going to give you some massive boost just automatically. The other thing that you have control over is the niche that you're posting in. What is your content about? If you're posting content that advertisers are able to advertise on and put money and dollars towards, there's a higher likelihood that you're going to increase the RPMs on that. For example, are you posting in the financial niche? If you're posting financial knowledge that anybody around the globe could use, like advertisers within that want to spend a lot of money, so you're able to increase your RPM. Patty had to say, biggest factors that impact RPM: location of viewers, length of video, 20-minute plus, niche topic, age, demos of viewer. To me, the easiest thing to fix here is if getting higher RPM is the goals, is longer videos and trying to target higher RPM countries. I mean, yeah, that's 2 extra good points by Patty here in that the United States clearly is a high advertiser country and high viewership country, so the rates are going to be a lot higher. And the other thing that he mentioned is the age and demos of the viewer. When you think of the viewers that you're going after, are they an affluent audience? Do they have money to spend, or is it kind of within a niche that doesn't spend a lot of money and doesn't ever plan to spend a lot of money? Murray Frost asks, there are a lot of false theories about the YouTube algorithm. How do you think the recommendation system works, and what makes the video get mass recommended? I think I know what you're going to say, but would love to see what your 100 million plus videos do with this. The reason that videos get over 1 million or 10 million, the idea has mass appeal. How many viewers are actually going to watch your specific idea? If you're doing a hyper specific idea, like what are the best men's Nike shoes released in September of 2025, you're only going to get so many people watching that video and for only so long of a period of time. With each of those things that I mentioned, you're slowly diluting the audience to a very specific viewer. And that's fine for some approaches, but if you're trying to reach mass viewership, it's not going to cut it. In that example, you're already narrowing it to sneakerheads, and then you're narrowing it to men's sneakerheads, and then you're narrowing it even to just a little period of time where that video is not going to have long staying power. So when you're thinking about trying to get a video that has 1 million, 100 million views, you have to think big. Mr. Beast is obviously the biggest example of this. Initially, his niche was just US viewership, and then he realized that he could reach a bigger viewership by dubbing his videos. And in that, he was able to massively increase his viewership base by making things of mass appeal. He does this on shorts by having shorts that have no words in them, because even words are something that feels exclusionary to somebody from different languages. And the other thing that I said is, yeah, it has to be long lasting. Can you watch a video for just a month, or does it have staying power? Is it very evergreen for a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road, where if you watch that, it's actually still interesting? And the one thing that I don't think a lot of people take into consideration here is the personal branding of it. Building up a brand takes time, but by gaining audience trust and by seeing like everybody who sees your video, no matter what, is going to click on it, that is very important to build up, and that's what helps increase this viewership number. And Patty had to say, so for 1 million or even 100 million plus videos, the topic appealed to a wide base of viewers, interesting to a big market. Exactly what I said there. It has a high idea and viewership base. A lot of people clicked it. Yeah, people who clicked watched for a relatively long time compared to video length or other videos that could be recommended. It's satisfied. Yeah, that is the bottom line here, is that it's satisfying to a large audience. The idea has to be great. Then people have to actually click the title and thumbnail, and then they have to stay. I mean, that is how you have a good, successful YouTube video. And Jacob Edmonds asks, what's an underrated skill successful creators have that others don't? Great question, Jacob. And the number one thing that I would say here is discipline. They are able to do their craft time and time again. I studied some of the top creators on the platform, from Mr. Beast to Eric to Ryan Trahan to many, many more, to see what took them from 0 to 100,000 subscribers. And then after that, like, of course, they can just skyrocket, but what took them to that initial phase? And the number one thing that I found, there were actually two things. The first one was consistency of their videos. That is all it took, is posting consistently week over week over week over week. Yes, you have outliers like Mark Rober who posts like once a month, but for the most part, he is very consistent about it. And the other thing is, like, it just takes time in posting consistency and building up that audience. It took most of those creators about 2 years of consistently posting content before they reached 100,000 subscribers. And then you see they could really start skyrocketing because they study YouTube, they know YouTube, they learn YouTube, and they're passionate about it. I don't think there was any greater example of this than when I was watching Ryan Trahan's 50 States in 50 Days series, when on the side of the road, he had to pull over on his electric bike to create a thumbnail for his upcoming video. That is the true mindset of a creator and how they are so good at what they do, the top creators on the platform. And Patty says, so to keep it 100%, some people just have a better eye for viral content and the psychology of what makes other humans click. I know I've had it since I was a child. I've made viral videos every year on every platform since 2010. My dog just went viral on Insta. That's actually hilarious. I was just looking at starting a YouTube channel for my dog just because I think it'd be like a lot lot of fun as just like side content, but I'd actually slightly disagree. There are some people who are like naturally gifted, but I don't think it's just that. I think that you can learn how to make viral content by studying the top creators on the platform, by studying guys like Patty Galloway and other creators on the platform, but I don't think it's just within you. I think you can learn it. Oh, this one by Liam's really, really good. Why did one of these videos flop and the other blew up? I thought the flop was better, but I guess I was wrong. So let's actually look at this and then see, like, is he wrong or not? And this first one is with the thumbnail, don't fit in, very artsy thumbnail. The title, Why Life is Easier as an Outcast, with about 300,000 views in 11 months. The second one is I wasted years overthinking until my dad said this. It's about 5 minutes. They're both around the same length, but this one has 500 views, posted 3 weeks ago. The first thing here, Liam, is you got to give your videos a little bit of time. Like this one was posted 11 months ago, so of course it's going to just naturally have more views. Not naturally, but it's going to have more views because it was out for a longer period of time. But without even watching these videos, I can tell you what's wrong with them. This first one, this don't fit in, why life is easier as an outcast, is pretty solid packaging all around. I think I'm curious to want to click into that. This reminds me of like a late night video that I would watch on YouTube or many others would watch. I think a lot of people who watch YouTube, not everybody, but feel a little bit on the outs. They're watching videos alone or by themselves, and this is a video that could totally appeal to them, which is probably why it has like a few 100,000 views. The packaging is interesting. Don't fit in. That, like, he's telling you, you're telling others to not, like, it's okay to be an outcast pretty much. And I want to find out like what you have to say about that with that artsy Dodford style thumbnail. This video, on the other hand, of I wasted years overthinking. What is the thumbnail? It is very confusing. There's a car key. There's a focus on you, which may be fine, but like, where's your dad? Is your dad the one holding the key? Are you the one holding the key? Why is there a key in this thumbnail? It's confusing. I think that if this video is about like, I got my first car, it wasn't so great or something like that, maybe I'm interested in the key, or I just turned 16 and my dad handed me the keys. Cool. What could you do with it is maybe there's a thumbnail of you and your dad. You're sitting at a table across from each other and there's a speech bubble coming out of his mouth that says something like with some advice about overthinking. And before I go to Patty's advice, what I'll also say is that this is a trap that creators can get into where they work so hard on a video, they pour their heart and soul into it, and so they think that like this should go viral, this should go off. I poured hours and hours and hours into this versus another one where you spent maybe like half of the time on it, but that time and passion isn't necessarily what gets the views. It's good packaging. It's a mass idea. It is these things that get people to watch the actual video for longer. And Patty said, yeah, you were wrong. Your flop. Confusing title, vague. I rather the statement of your other one. Why car key? Just weird. Too much focus on you. I think it's pretty terrible. The one on the left is way more clickable to me, at least. I have nothing else to say. That's literally what I said. This next question by Nick is really good. He asked, do you think there's any overlap between general YouTube strategy versus YouTube streaming strategy, or is it an entirely different ball game? I love this question because everybody thinks that their circumstances and their situation is different from everybody else's. Yeah, that works for every other channel, but I'm different. No, you're not. The strategy is the same. The principles are the same. It doesn't matter if you're doing YouTube videos or YouTube streaming or YouTube shorts or Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook. The principles are the same. Yes, there are little differences and nuances and how you go about creating those, but in reality, the strategy is the exact same. And Patty said, as the years go by, I'm realizing more and more that strategy for viral content translates more than you think across different platforms or formats. I had never uploaded an IG reel before. I just grew my dog page from 0 to 100K in like 2 months. Skills are translated. Couldn't agree more, Patty. And I love this guy's next name, Jart. He says, hi, Patty. For 8 to 12 minute videos, that's usually what I make. Do you have a usual way of placing ads more near the start and fewer at the end, or the other way around? I usually put them where the tension builds up, but I'm curious what you think. Putting them where the tension builds up is a strategy that I've used in the past, kind of like a cliffhanger, even if it's not like a crazy cliffhanger at the end of a TV show, even just like right before a little bit of knowledge. But there's one little bit of issue there, and I think this is what so many people get wrong about putting YouTube ads and mid-rolls in their videos, is that just because you put an ad there does not mean that YouTube's going to show it. So you are making those decisions of putting an ad every few spots, but YouTube knows the viewer better than you do just because they're following their watch journey. They may have watched like hours and hours of content, and so putting a bunch of ads within one of your videos that they have watched like hours before of isn't necessarily going to be helpful for your content or for YouTube to get that viewer to keep watching. And so they may place like one ad or two ads as opposed to 5 or 10 or whatever it is for that piece of content. In terms of yours specifically, 8 to 12 minutes, you can place mid-rolls more often than you would think. If you're placing it like every few minutes, that's usually pretty fine. And I'm interested, Patty has to say here, I place them at minimum every 2.5, but I've tested them literally every minute or every 10 seconds. YouTube themselves won't let a viewer see too many ads. You don't place an ad, you open a spot that YouTube can fill. Basically, that's what I was saying here, and that YouTube wants the viewer to keep watching, and so they're not gonna bombard them with ads. And this next question is great. Colby asks, how do you build confidence in trusting your gut on big calls? Like when deciding how to package the Red Bull Max versus drone YouTube video. I can follow the data and explain my choices with insights, but I struggle to fully trust my instinct because I've seen wild things happen. That is a great question, Colby, and honestly how I live my life and how I live this YouTube channel. I want to back everything based on data, based on insights, so that I feel confident in my decision. And even if I'm wrong, I feel confident knowing that it was based on some sort of logic. Even if the crazy wild thumbnail wins or the crazy video like pops off that I wasn't fully expecting to, I go into it with a logic knowing that my reasoning actually made sense. Now, I haven't worked with a client like Red Bull, so I can't speak to that exactly, but the principle is the exact same. If I feel good basing things off of evidence, basing things off what I'm seeing on YouTube, and honestly just like years of experience help builds this up as well, then I feel a lot more confident going into a consulting or client meeting. And Patty, who has worked with these creators, has said, real talk, everyone gets humbled. I get it wrong a lot too. I think you got to keep putting in the reps. My confidence comes from just thousands of uploads, thousands of chances to learn and get better. I couldn't put it better myself. But if you want to see how I'm secretly growing my YouTube channel to try to get 1,000 subs and monetize faster, you can check out my strategy in this video next.